Last night, the Rays offense came to life in the early going, highlighted by rookie Joey Butler's two-run blast over the Green Monster in the second inning, jumping out to a 4-run lead before Jake Odorizzi took care of the rest, tossing 7 innings of one-run baseball as Tampa Bay cruised to a 5-1 win. Tonight, lefty Drew Smyly goes to the hill looking for his first win in 2015. It is an overcast evening in Boston. Leading up to the middle game of this series between the Rays and the Red Sox, it will be comfortably cool. The Rays winners last night 5-1, and they're up 3-1 in the season series with Boston. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Rays Baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Well, the Rays did strike early last night, scoring 2 in the first. The first run driven in by Evan Longoria, and for Evan, career hit number 999. He's in pursuit of at least one more tonight.
Inching closer. And you're right, Dwayne. That RBI double by Evan Longoria gave the Rays a lead that they would not relinquish. It leaves them at 999. One more to go for a big milestone. And I'm going to tell you something. He's had a tough go of it against Rick Porcello. It's been a tough matchup for him, but I think that he is going to get it done tonight. In fact, I think he's going to get it done over the Green Monster. He is due for a home run, and how fitting would that be for hit number 1,000. On the pitching end of things, you've got Drew Smyly. He's going to take the mound tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. Had 2 starts against the Boston Red Sox last year, one with Detroit and one with the Rays, and you see combined has thrown the ball very well, 2.31 earned run average. And let's be frank here, he's thrown the ball great since he's come to the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's coming off an outing against the New York Yankees where he went 6 innings, struck out 10 on just 87 pitches.
2 pitchers who were teammates coming up through the Detroit system and then in the big leagues with the Tigers. Porcello coming off Wednesday's outing, a win against the Toronto Blue Jays. He worked 7 innings in that one. And Wednesday, a no decision for Drew Smyly against the Yankees in New York. A 6-inning outing there with 2 earned runs, and big on the strikeout department in that game. Rays last night shuffled the lineup just a bit. And when we come back, Todd Callis will take a look at tonight's lineup. We'll watch Todd work his way through the lineup shuffle.
rookie Jim Rice, part of the 1975 Red Sox championship team. As we look at Fenway Park, the entire 1975 team being honored today, the 40th anniversary. Carlton, Fisk, Pudge, the last one being welcomed on the field as everybody was on their respective positions. You saw Yaz and Rice in left. You saw Fred Lynn would be in center field, and the rest of the team being honored today at Fenway Park. The current team is going to wear those old school 1975 uniforms. Our own Don Zimmer was part of that team as well as one of the coaches on that staff. For the Rays, they wouldn't look at any of those guys as being a solid part of their lineup. But yesterday, Kevin Cash did something that he hadn't done much of the year. He shuffled the lineup around. He said at the beginning of the year he wanted to have a consistent lineup. Well, yesterday, he moved some guys around. As Asdrubal Cabrera moved down to the 7 spot. James Loney up to the 3 spot. This guy, David DeJesus, in the 5 spot. DeJesus got things going in the first inning as he hit one past Dustin Pedroia's right side. And then later in the game, he would hit one past his left side. A couple of RBI base hits for DeJesus. Then you would have Asdrubal Cabrera, who had a couple of hits to break an O for Schneid. And then the newest Tampa Bay Ray, Joey Butler, the DH, his first Major League home run, playing for his 3rd Major League team. Those guys combined for 5 for 11 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Similar lineup tonight. Here's Kevin Cash on how he liked the way that lineup looked.
I thought Cabby had really good at bats last night. We all did. And then obviously Souza getting 2 big hits, helps his frame of mind a little bit. And, we're facing another right-handed pitcher. Let's not mix it up too much. It was just a day for Rene to get off. He was going to get one of the 2 off. So we decided to go with today.
So the exact same lineup 1 through 8. As you heard, Rene Rivera getting the night off. Bobby Wilson will be in there catching for Tampa Bay tonight. We're ready for baseball in 2 minutes and just about 10 seconds. A couple of former teammates, Rick Porcello and Drew Smiley, ready to toe the hill in Game 2 of this 3-game series.
Welcome back to Fenway Park for the middle game of this 3-game series. After the Rays took the first game last night, they will send Drew Smiley to the hill against right-hander Rick Porcello tonight. We'll take a look at the Rays lineup. This lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Kevin Kiermaier again leads it off, followed by Steven Souza Jr. and then James Loney. Evan Longoria hits cleanup. David DeJesus in left in the number 5 spot in front of Logan Forsythe. Asdrubal Cabrera 7th. Joey Butler again the DH hitting 8th. And Bobby Wilson behind the plate hitting out of the 9th spot tonight.
Now taking the mound tonight for the Boston Red Sox, right-hander Rick Porcello. It's been an up and down start to the season for him. He's making his 6th start, even up record 2-2, 5.34 on the earned run average. However, he is coming off by far and away his best start of the season, and that came against the Blue Jays. He went 7 innings, gave up just 2 hits, 1 earned run in picking up that second win. Let's take a look at the Red Sox defense and see how that's going to line up tonight behind Porcello. In the outfield left to right, going to have Alan Craig, Mookie Betts, and Brock Holt. Across the infield third to first, Pablo Sandoval, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Napoli. Blake Swihart will be behind the plate.
Hanley Ramirez out of the lineup, suffering the shoulder sprain, the left shoulder sprain last night. Charging into the sidewall in left field, and here's another look at that one. And the ball hit by James Loney. He's day-to-day, and they are hoping he'll be able to play when they hit the road on their approaching road trip. First pitch of this game is a strike call, so we're underway. Kevin Kiermaier up there against Porcello. First pitch presented by Pinch A Penny. One and one. Kiermaier at 276 on the year. One and two. Kiermaier and Logan Forsythe lead this team at extra base hits. Each have 11.
And how many of those should have been singles?
For Kiermaier, absolutely. He runs them into doubles with regularity.
Always looking to take that extra base, getting an opportunity here out of the leadoff spot. Can create instant offense, something that this Rays team needs.
Now the count is full. Sharply hit and past Bogaerts and into left, where Craig makes the pickup. The usual big turn by Kiermaier, and he hangs on with a single.
Well, you know, we're 6 pitches into this ball game, but the one thing that has really plagued Porcello at the beginning of this season is the sinker. The sinker just has not been there. He's not been getting the number of ground balls that he normally gets. That's a pitch right there in a full count. It stays up. When it stays up, that allows Kevin Kiermaier to hit that ball hard enough to get it past Bogaerts and out into left field.
And boy, you're right about the ground ball. His career numbers are pushing 53% of ground balls. He threw 30 double play balls last year.
And I'm going to tell you something. The way that they figure out ground ball percentage now is awful. It's awful. 53% doesn't sound that impressive until you look at the breakout. The breakout is actually 2-1, which in my book is 67%. Yeah. But how they come up with that 53 unless they factor in strikeouts.
It's all part of the new math.
Yeah, right. But yeah, the bottom line is he wants to use his infielders, and he wants to be efficient with the pitch count. You know, running full counts is not part of his game. Balls elevated, not part of his game.
Steven Souza Jr. broke out last night after an 0 for 18. Down in the count this time around, 0-2. Souza hit his second plate appearance last night, was hit on the right arm by a pitch. Then he walked and followed that up with a single and a double on the night. He is out on strikes.
And Rick Porcello right there got lucky. Blake Swihart was asking for that pitch elevated. And that's something that Porcello will do every now and then. Not a big part of his game. But look at Swihart asking for that pitch up. Give it to me up here. Watch where it ends up. Oof. That ball could have been smoked.
The young catcher, Blake Swihart, getting a chance. Injuries to the numbers 1 and 2 catchers for this Boston club. And that has opened an opportunity for Swihart. Last night we saw Leon catch with Swihart, their top prospect, and now getting major league time after starting the year AAA Pawtucket. Out of Bedford, Texas. Loney tried to hold up, and he does. Chip Gibson, who worked the plate last night, down at third tonight.
Close. Good call.
Loney fouls that pitch. It was up a bit. The count is 1-1.
You could see Porcello keeping an eye on Kiermaier, not by throwing over there, but you notice how long he held on to that ball. That's one way that a right-handed pitcher can try to control and neutralize the running game. Obviously, having a good move is a big benefit, but boy, you can vary your times to the plate, hold, step off, hold a little bit longer, try to get that base runner to sink into his heels.
Pitch away, and Porcello has been pretty good with the running game, but 4 of 4 runners against him in steals this year. Last year, 7 caught stealings and 7 steals with him on the mound. Toward the left field line, Craig has room and makes the catch in fair territory. 2 outs with Kiermaier back at first.
Porcello had 2 shots at the Rays last year, and you really can't find 2 starts that are opposite ends of the spectrum. He pitched against the Rays early July, gave up 7 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings, and then all of a sudden turns it around 3rd week of August and fires a 3-hit shutout at Tropicana Field. In fact, I think that was the game that we were out on the porch.
It was Evan Longoria. And the pitch is a strike. Evan starts the night with 999 hits. Carl Crawford and Ben Zobrist have more. And Evan trying to get to the 1,000 mark. Fouls it back. Cut at a fastball there. Pitch out over the plate. And it's 0-2. Evans struck early last night with an RBI double. And that pitch close for a ball, 1-2. Carl Crawford has more hits than any other Ray with 1,480. And Ben Zobrist had 1,016. Evan trying to get to 1,000 in this game. Fouls it back. Another fastball.
And you see that a lot from Porcello. When he gets ahead of right-handed hitters, try to jam him. There's that graphic you're talking about. D. Wayne, 1 away.
Kiermaier's single to start the inning. He's at first. And a move over there. They throw it away. Ball rebounds into shallow right, and Kiermaier's going to move up to second. And just like that, the Rays get a man in scoring position.
Well, paying attention with Kiermaier, and Porcello quick And then he yanks the throw. And you see over there Mike Napoli gets cut off from that ball by Kiermaier diving back into the bag. And there you go, 90 feet.
So now a hit and an error. Marcello's second error of the year. And the Rays have Kiermaier at second. Two and two. David DeJesus hitting behind Longoria in the order again tonight. Marcello tries to shoot the outside corner. Missed with a slider on the prior pitch and a fastball just a little bit wide.
And watch Porcello. He's heading to the dugout. He thinks he got him. He takes that one step. Oop. Close. Really close.
Second full count he's had here in the first inning. And there is strike three call. And now Evan a little upset.
Same pitch. Different pitch, same location. The fastball to the changeup, and tell me that this is not exactly in the same spot. Oh, it is.
We go to the bottom of the first. No score. Lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Mookie Betts leads it off, followed by Dustin Pedroia and David Ortiz. Napoli, Sandoval, and Craig down the middle. Brock Holt 7th, Bogarts 8th. Swihart, the catcher, hits 9th. And Drew Smiley ready to go to work. First pitch is in there, a strike. Pitch in the upper part of the zone.
And you'll see him work that all night long.
Shoots the corner. And the breaking, or the off-speed pitch anyway, stays wide. 1-1.
That's the one change that we saw in Drew Smiley that really stood out last year from his time with the Tigers to when he came over to the Rays, was the elevated fastball and how often he'll use it.
Down to third, scooped by Longoria, and Betts is the first out. Already an element of uncertainty in this game on those last two pitches to Evan Longoria, affecting both the hitter and the pitcher.
Absolutely. Here's a fastball. Okay, you're just going to call it just off. That's fair enough. Everybody knows the ground rules now. Now a changeup. Evan said, oh, that's in the same spot. I'm going to take it. No, I'm going to get rung up. And now if you're Evan, you're saying, wait a minute, if it's a ball before, now it's a strike. Now I don't trust your zone. Rick Porcello's walking off saying, yeah, I just struck him out, but I threw that pitch in the same exact spot before, so now it's a coin flip. and really all a pitcher or a hitter will ask, they don't necessarily have to like the strike zone. They just want it to be called consistently. That's it. That's really the only gripe. When it's inconsistent, it's a worse zone than really any that you could have. Whether it be small for a pitcher and big for a hitter, or whatever it is. But the inconsistency is a killer for both sides.
Yeah, uncertainty in both those cases, not what you want.
A pitcher wants to know where he can go to get a strike. A hitter wants to know what he has to cover. If you're guessing, both sides are guessing, well.
3-1 to count on Dustin Pedroia. And now the count is full. Third start for Smiley. And a foul ball.
And got Bobby Wilson right in the hand. He was not able to get it out of the way. And that foul ball hit right in the knuckles.
And anything like that tonight's going to feel, because it's a little cooler tonight than it was last night. 57 degrees to start play tonight. And there's ball 4. Pedroia is aboard. And tonight's Buick big matchup. Here's Smiley and David Ortiz. Ortiz with a home run and 4 hits in his matchup with Smiley. That's a strike to Ortiz. Ortiz starts the night at .250, 4 home runs for the year. Another foul ball.
Boy, nothing better than getting that foul ball off a hanging off-speed pitch. Let's take a look at that Rays defense for you real quick. In the outfield left to right, we have DeJesus, Kiermaier, and Souza Jr. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Loney, with Bobby Wilson behind the dish.
Runner goes, pitch is a ball, and the throw is not going to be in time. Pedroia steals his first base of the year.
Well, Drew Smiley, the delivery to the plate, Bobby Wilson, a better pitch for him to handle, but you see the jump by Pedroia, and he got a good one. Strong throw, but does not matter. Pedroia in there. Maybe if that ball didn't skip, got a chance to get him in a bang-bang situation, but a good jump by Pedroia on that stolen base.
Now the Red Sox are the man in scoring position. Two and two. Ortiz is out of there on strikes on the off-speed pitch. So the first strikeout of the night for Smiley, a big one. Ortiz tried to check halfway through and could not. Now it's going to be Mike Napoli. Napoli, a couple of home runs, hitting .159. Pitch covered up by Wilson.
Has just not been able to get it going for this Red Sox lineup. A guy that they're counting on, not going to hit for a real high average, but always supplying that power, the threat of it.
1.
And that's what ends up happening. You know, you're struggling. You know what your average is. And you're up there and you want to make something happen. There's a runner out in scoring position. You want to give your team the lead. And all of a sudden you're chasing way out of the zone early in the count. And the hitting coach right there, Chili Davis, former teammate.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. Let's take a look at our Toyota trend as it pertains to the Red Sox. 3 for their last 30 over past 5 games with men in scoring position. They come in hitting .220 on the year with runners in scoring position. That's exactly where the Rays entered this game. Ground ball, positioned perfectly. Forsythe. Throw to first, and the Red Sox leave a man. On to the second inning, no score. Let's go places. And by Grow Financial. Don't go through life, grow through life with Grow Financial Federal Credit Union. Cinco de Mayo. Even here in Boston. And their special Red Sox version of the sombrero on this special day.
I like the mustache.
David DeJesus looks at a strike. DeJesus drove in a run last night in the first. Picked up an RBI later in the game, and there's a base hit into right field for David DeJesus. So the Rays, for the second consecutive inning, put the leadoff man on against Porcello.
Nice job by DeJesus going down and getting this curveball. It's breaking down and in. He's able to stay back, and boy, does he get around on it very quickly there at the end. And we talked about would these guys be able to sustain the success from last night. David DeJesus came into last night's game, hadn't had a hit in a week, and now hit number 3 between last night and early on tonight.
Logan Forsythe takes the fastball too close. Logan's hitting .306. Eleven runs batted in, and 5 out of 12 against Boston this year. One and one.
This is where you want to see something elevated, something that you could drive, because Rick Porcello has been one of the best at getting the ground ball and the ground ball into a double play. In fact, every season he's been in the big leagues, at least 19 of those. He had 30 of them last year.
Betts in center field takes care of this one off Forsythe's bat.
He got it in the air, too far, right to Betts. That's going to be the key, is to try to make Porcello work. He wants to get you out early, but up until his last start, his sinker has been very inconsistent. So you got a chance here to wait him out a little bit and get those pitches, there's a little elevation to him, and try to cash in.
Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera also had 2 hits last night. And a little late on that one. Strike one.
I think he was actually trying to shoot that ball the other way. You could see after the swing where his head went. He's looking at, you've got one defender right there, and that's Sandoval. Thinking if I get a pitch away, I could just pop it over that way, get it by him, get it out into left field for a base hit.
He's had success against Porcello in his big league career. Hitting .295 through 44 at-bats off the right-hander.
That's those old Tiger Indians matchups.
He's down, 2 strikes in the count.
That swing, he was trying to go into one of the bullpens.
That will be out of play. Rays starting the night, second in the East. 2 games behind New York. The Yankees at 16-10. The Rays are 14-12. Baltimore next. They're 2.5 back. Then Toronto 3.5. Followed by the Red Sox 4. Close, but a ball, and it's 1-2. Red Sox have lost 4 in a row, and that has come on their current homestand.
They haven't been able to put anything together since that game 2 of the Rays series. That they blew that game.
There goes the runner, and a swing and a miss, and down to second goes DeJesus. He went past the bag, and I wonder if he thought that was a foul ball. And he managed to scamper back in there.
It's the second time we've seen that this past week. A swing and a miss, and off the catcher's glove. Right at the naked eye, quickly, it does look like a foul ball. But Swihart, who was coming out of his stance to try to make a throw on DeJesus, that ball just clanked. And David, he didn't even go to the bag. He was jogging out into shallow left field there to turn around and come back. Interesting route.
So the strikeout of Cabrera. And they give DeJesus a stolen base on that. He was breaking. Joey Butler. Butler connected his first time up last night, getting his first home run in the major leagues. Hitting it over the green monster in left. Had a changeup out last night. High fly ball, right field. A lot of room out there. Holt now comes in and makes the catch. Rays lead a man. We go to the bottom of the second, scoreless. Today, Give Day, Tampa Bay. So join the Rays in helping your favorite local nonprofits by making an online donation. Learn more and commit to donate at givedaytampabay.org. Pablo Sandoval takes the first pitch for a strike. Switch hitting third baseman. Now the count's 0-2. He's done almost all of his damage from the left side. 2 for 24 against left-handed pitching. 316 with a couple of home runs overall. High pop foul. Count still 2 strikes.
And there's already been talk, and the questions started to be answered that, well, maybe think about giving up the right-handed side, kind of what Shane Victorino did, although I think he gave up the left-handed side.
And he did that because of injury.
Mm-hmm. But you get to the point where if the numbers are that, that big a difference over an extended period of time, over years, then
that shot up the right side foul, bounding into the seats.
That would have been a tough way to give up an extra base hit. But, you see a couple of guys here, and Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez, of course, is hurt. But guys that have made that transition from National League to American League and haven't missed a beat.
And that's not always the easiest thing to do, change leagues. Especially if you've been in one league for a long time. And then to go to a new league, try to learn a whole set of new pitching. Cabrera gloves this one and takes care of Sandoval.
And here's where I think it's different for a hitter than a pitcher. Is a lot of people say out there, well, listen, with all the scouting reports that are out there, these guys have a better idea of what American League pitchers do and how they pitch. And guess what? You're right. They do. But until you see it, you don't know. Okay, a guy likes to go to his slider with 2 strikes. He likes the fastball early in the count. All these things. Okay, but where's his release point? What's the movement like? You have to see that for yourself. You can't glean that from a scouting report.
1-0 to Craig. Therefore, tougher for a hitter to make that transition, you think,
I would
than
think.
A pitcher.
Absolutely. I would think, because the pitcher is the guy that is starting everything. He can just go out and he knows a hitter is hot zone, cold zone, and can go after him because he's the one making the action. The hitter is reacting, and I think that's more difficult.
Smiley quickly behind Craig. 3-0. There's a strike. Couple things about Smiley. When he went from Detroit to the Rays, he was 6-9 with the Tigers and a .393 earned run average last year. Then 3-1 with a .170 with the Rays. And he's just given up his second walk. This one comes with 1 out in the second inning. You'll see our T-Mobile game changer for Smiley and what he has done against the American League East. He's pitching for the team that gave him the biggest trouble.
I was going to say, how happy are you if you're going to get traded in that division? Go ahead and get traded to the Tampa Bay Rays, because they're the team that's saddled him with the loss and the ERA over 5.5. Other than that, impressive work.
There's a strike to Brock Holt. What he's done a couple things since coming to the Rays, and we touched on it in his last start. His success against right-handed hitting has been much better with the Rays than it was with the Tigers, and he has been a better swing and miss pitcher in his admittedly limited body of work, but it's a pretty significant increase in the swing and miss percentage for him since he has become a Ray versus when he was with Detroit.
And a lot of the reason why is that the more use of the upper part of the strike zone, that elevated fastball. He gets a ton of swings and misses on that pitch, and even when he doesn't, when you're forced to have a hitter deal with the pitch up there, and then all of a sudden you take the curveball below the zone or a pitch down, it's going to benefit you there too, twofold.
And there is a strike call. Fastball and up a bit. Holt caught looking.
Another one of those Rays pitchers that'll utilize the whole strike zone. They want it up. He gets it up. And you see that right there with Brock Holt. And that right there is game planning. And that's great, but you got to be able to execute it. And we just saw Drew Smyly do it very effectively.
Xander Bogaerts. Upstairs. The other side of that is you've got to get that call from the umpire up. And there are umpires in the past who've been a little reluctant to give that high strike as often as you'd like. I think it's less so today. That's a strike. 1-1.
And most of the time, when you throw the elevated heater, you want to swing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you're right. You can't count on the ump calling it because you're elevating. And typically you're elevating just above the zone. Mm-hmm. Now, if they're going to call it up there, that's just bonus. But if they don't, you want them to swing.
Kiermaier under this one in center field. Bogaerts out, and so are the Red Sox. They leave a man. We head into the third, no score.
Operations for the Tampa Bay Rays, Matt Silverman, alongside the Rays dugout. Matt, as Bobby Wilson leads off here in the third inning. Here we are in game 27, 1 month into the season. 14-12 with all you've been through. Take that one, right?
Yeah, it feels like 2 months, 3 months have gone by in just a short amount of time, but really resilient team. Guys are fighting through a collection of injuries. They believe in themselves, and it's been fun to watch, and we have a lot of good baseball ahead of us.
As you see this team right now, it's pretty much what you thought coming out of spring training. Your pitching has been leading the way. Offense is actually slightly down runs per game from last year. Getting a guy like Joey Butler, seeing the mix in the lineup from last night, confident that could change things around a little?
Yeah, we signed 6-year free agents for this reason to help us out, and we really like his power profile. Adding a little bit more power is a good thing for our lineup.
Sandoval with the long throw, and they retire Wilson.
And we're looking to get healthy, and hopefully get Franklin back in a couple weeks. That'll add to the offensive prowess that we have here, give us a little bit more flexibility, and hopefully get on a little bit of an offensive roll.
Nick Franklin beginning his rehab assignment tonight at AAA Durham. We'll have an update for you with him. A couple of at-bats expected for Nick. What's his... It's going to be an interesting situation. You've got guys in the middle infield playing great, and Tim Beckham coming off the bench doing what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. We're going to make sure everyone gets at bats and match up properly. But the most important thing is for Franklin to get healthy and get back up here and help us win games. Adding him to the mix with Forsythe and with Beckham, with Elmore, gives us a lot of options.
Jake McGee pitching in that game tonight for the Durham Bulls. So good news on that front. Good news with Matt Moore throwing a live BP the other day. Maybe not the best news about Alex Cobb. What can you tell us in that situation?
I can't tell you too much. We're going to have a lot more information on Thursday when we're all back home. But it's been widely reported he had a setback. He's been going through some tests, and we're going to know something more definitive. But he's going to try to battle through and see what he can do, and hopefully get back pitching this year for us. But if not, we'll have to look at those alternatives. But too early now, and we'll have a lot more on Thursday.
Because of the uncertainty, is it possible Matt Moore is maybe ahead of where Alex Cobb is right now?
Yeah, it could be. Certainly Matt's on a schedule now, and hopefully he's back sometime in the month of June. With Alex, we need to see how he responds and get a few more things back before we put a timetable on him. So, it's the way the season goes. You never know with injuries, but guys are working to get healthy, and while they're working on it, our guys are playing pretty well.
They really are, and everything in the East is bunched up right now. You can see the standings here on the monster walls. Kevin Kiermaier grounds one on a couple of hops to Dustin Pedroia for the second out. 22nd straight game tomorrow against the AL East for the Rays. So you've seen this division pretty closely lately. Do you see a 95-win team in the division this year?
I don't. It's going to take a team getting hot to separate. We came in knowing that we're going to be battling in this division early on, and we wanted to keep it close, especially with the injuries, make sure that we're playing good baseball so the thing doesn't get away from us, and our guys have done well. It'll be nice to play some teams other than the East, but the good thing is when you play the East, you can make up some ground, you can gain some ground. So we'll play some other teams. We'll come back to play the Yankees 4 more games at home next week, and then maybe get into a little bit of a different rhythm at that time.
Matt Silverman joining us here from aside the Rays dugout, not far from Kevin Cash. We talked to Cash a lot about his transition as a manager. How about you with the new role? Are you finding yourself watching the game differently these days?
A little differently. I think it feels different than the first day. Settled into a little bit more of a routine. But now that we have a few games under our belts, a lot easier to watch. And we've answered a lot of questions about the offseason. Guys are performing how we thought, and I feel really good about what we have ahead of us.
You like watching the games behind the home plate area?
I like behind home plate, but in Fenway, you don't get many options, so it's a nice night to be outside.
There you go, guys. All right, that's Matt Silverman. Back to you.
All right, 3-0. The count on Steven Souza Jr. takes a strike. It's 3-1. In terms of Matt Silverman settling into that job, he really didn't have a lot of time to think about that. He has been so busy. Oh, that bat explodes on a ground ball left side. Sandoval's throw, and they do not get him. Souza safely aboard at first. He hit the bag and appeared to turn his ankle and came up limping a bit, running back of first base, but he appears to be okay.
Well, he's moving so fast down that line, smelling an infield hit. You see the bat just explode. And now you're going to lunge for the bag, try to beat it, and you see right there how awkwardly he hit the bag. You got to be careful because those bags do not give. They're hard. And if you catch them wrong, well, you see right there the result. But trying to walk it off still over there.
Yeah, he took a little time to kind of stretch out beyond first base, and now back in there on an infield hit. Well, he hustles all the time, and that's one thing about this team. They have a great desire to be out there and compete. Throw to first, and Souza is back in.
Yeah, when you watch this team, you never get the sense of a day off. There's some at-bats you may not like, but they don't take at-bats off. Everything is a competition, and they leave it all out on the field. That's all you can ask.
Way high to Loney.
I'll tell you what, Porcello has been living dangerously. A lot of pitches up in the zone. This has been what has really led him to this inauspicious start to the season, inconsistent start to the season. But it has been like that for the Red Sox starting pitchers across the board.
If you look at the Red Sox numbers For example, their starters have a 5.73 earned run average. And if you compare their numbers with last year's team at the same juncture, not much different. In fact, the pitching, the numbers are not nearly as good as they were a year ago at this time.
And that ERA 5.73 is highest in Major League Baseball, not just the American League. And you're right. And, they remade that starting rotation. And we talked about it the first time the Rays faced them. They had 5 guys out there that are going to rely on getting the ground ball. You think about Wade Miley, Justin Masterson, Clay Buchholz, all these guys that have career, ground ball, fly ball ratios very high, want to use their infielders. And really across the board, you're not seeing those numbers translate in big ERAs.
Well, they were 71 and 91 last year, and hoping that they had transformed this club to a point where they could be right there in the middle of the race. There goes the runner on a 3-1 pitch, chopped to second, and Pedroia throws out Loney. No runs, a hit, and a man left. On to the bottom of the third, no score. Moment in MLB history presented by Geico. It's on this day in 1904. Boston Americans right-hander Cy Young tosses the first perfect game in American League history against the Philadelphia A's. Won that game 3-0.
What was more impressive, the first perfect game or the sweet center part in the hair?
You've got to look good to play good.
So we're going with that looking good?
Swihart bounces out short to first on the first pitch. One away.
Well, all I know is that back in 1904, Cy Young had quite the explosive straight ball.
Well, this is what he did. He got an award to play baseball and pitch named after him.
Yep.
He didn't win any fashion awards, okay?
No.
So that gives you the idea of that breakdown.
He was the only guy back then that had more than a straight ball. So, of course, he got the award named after him. No one else had seen that drop ball.
There's strike 2 to Mookie Betts. Smiley starts his second time through the order.
If Smiley was pitching against the Philadelphia A's in 1904, people would be winning the Drew Smiley Award.
Here's Cabrera on the infield grass taking care of that pop-up. Well, that would be true the way he's pitched since coming to the Rays. It's a clean earned run average coming over last year at 170. You do that every year, you might get an award named after you.
Yeah, and you know what? Seriously, what he's done and how quickly he's made the transition to what the Rays, the tweaks that they wanted to make with him. Very impressive. You know, sometimes you get some good ideas, but it takes a little bit to incorporate them, to feel comfortable doing something different than you've ever done before. But boy, he picked up on it so quick, and the results, boy, they show.
This one off Pedroia's foot. That's a fair ball, says Trip Gibson. He's down in the batter's box. What happened there?
Well, Brian Gorman behind home plate called it a foul ball. He fouled that ball right off of his front foot.
Of course he did.
Yep.
And Trip Gibson called it fair.
Yeah. And Brian Gorman is trying to get his attention, and Evans tried to tell him. Right off the toe.
See, there's the contact, and it's a foul ball.
This is going to actually hit the bag, which is what gives it the funny hop. And there's Trip Gibson all over it.
And Evans going, hey, wait a minute. Pitch is high. And Pedroia up there with a 1-2.
You see how important communication is at every level.
That's what they keep telling us. Swing and a miss on that pitch up. Fastball. 1-2-3. Go the Red Sox, and Evan Longoria is going to lead off the fourth. Evan Longoria's walk-up song from your own home with the Evan Longoria walk-up music bobblehead presented by Sun Sports. Rays take on the Rangers Saturday, May the 9th, and all fans receive an Evan walk-up music bobblehead while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Pitch is foul, out of play. Not only does that bobblehead look good, but it sounds good. A musical bobblehead.
Todd showed us that when everything kind of went to pieces, but he had that music going.
One strike to count to Evan. And there's a base hit into center field for Longoria. That's hit number 1,000 in Evan's career. Right back through the middle. And it leads off the fourth inning here at Fenway. So Evan Longoria will join Carl Crawford and Ben Zobrist among Rays with at least 1,000 hits. And they'll save that baseball for him. The Rays have had runners aboard in each of the first 4 innings. Third time in those 4 innings that they put the leadoff man on. It's an opening curveball to David DeJesus at the knees. Strike 1.
And those are the kind of opportunities that you're just not afforded that often. 3 of the first 4, got to make something happen. Scoreless ball game. Your pitcher, Drew Smyly, throwing the ball very, very well.
Base hit shot the other way into left. Down to second goes Longoria. And David DeJesus is 2 for 2 tonight. First time base hit to right. This time base hit to left.
And what a great sign. You know, pull the pitch that you can. Then this pitch, another pitch elevated. Porcello just having a hard time getting that ball down in the zone consistently. And when it's away from you and up, easier to get to, easier to go the other way with.
Napoli and Swihart out there to chat with Porcello. And boy, you're right. It's unusual not to see more ground balls with him out there. Now Logan Forsythe. And the pitch is a strike. The lows never stop improving. And Logan Forsythe from last year to this year through 26 games. Big improvement. 182 to 306. And he's carried that slugging percentage in the upward direction as well. 1-1 the count.
Well, he's another one of these Rays hitters. We talk about David DeJesus being able to work a good at bat, put it on you, work a count. Logan Forsythe has been doing that all season long too. Staying inside the baseball. His hands have looked quicker.
Runners are going, and the pitch hit into center field. Betts will make the catch. Quick throw back to second. Out the call. DeMuro on the call, and Kevin Cash pops out of the dugout thinking that he might want to make a challenge to that one.
Well, to the naked eye, it looked like Evan may have gotten back in there. That's exactly what Kevin Cash is seeing, waiting for word. Here's the line drive, and Betts going to throw it right away, flat-footed. Oh, boy, the problem was Evan Longoria's foot is up in the air before it comes down in the bag. Boy, that's going to be close. The problem, again, is this call went against the Rays to begin with, and they're not even going to bother with it.
Now, the Rays have not won a challenge this year. They're 0 of 11 and have a stretch of 12 going.
And now they're getting gun shy.
So Longoria doubled off second base with both runners going. So they're left with DeJesus at first, 2 outs, and Cabrera fouls away the first pitch.
Well, there's where the ball is into the glove right there, and see Evan's foot is just up and off the bag. Yeah, you're probably not going to win that one, and wise to not go for it. Tough to lose that base runner, though. 2 hits to start off the inning. You got something going. He put the man in motion. How many times have we seen Kevin Cash with that double steal? And Forsythe, unfortunately, hit a bullet right to Betts.
Strike at the knees on Cabrera puts him down 0-2. Yeah, Forsythe hit that ball hard. That's all you can do.
I was surprised he got underneath it. That was actually one of the few sinkers that Porcello's thrown that was down in the zone, and Logan got down there and smoked it.
Still 2 strikes the count on Cabrera. Rays with 5 hits, no runs. They left Kiermaier on second in the first, DeJesus on second in the second. Souza stranded at first in the third. DeJesus at first here in the fourth, down and in. And David remains at first. The count goes to 2-2 on Asdrubal Cabrera.
Boy, so often we see DeJesus taking off on those balls in the dirt like that. Aggressive base runner, but Swihart kept that close enough. Had a good chance to get him at second. Probably wise that he stayed put.
Asdrubal strikes out, and that retires the side. No score.
Here's Drew on his relationship with Rick.
We hung out a ton. He was the guy that kind of took me under his wing when I was a rookie. I think it was his fourth year in the big leagues, and we're about the same age, so we just clicked right off the bat. So, I wish him nothing but the best, but hopefully I can outbeat him tonight.
Guys, he said on their non-start days, those two were inseparable. They were the guys that hung together in the dugout.
First pitch to David Ortiz is down. A ball and no strikes. Well, they're both low-key guys. Porcello. Oh, there's a long one. Well hit. Deep right center field. And Kiermaier got there. Kevin Kiermaier holds that one in, racing toward the 420 marker. Ortiz hit it to the wrong part of the ballpark, the deepest part, and Kiermaier got it.
Of course he did. I'll tell you what, this is why, as a pitcher, you love to have a center fielder out there that can cover ground and is fearless. And look at this, right over, a lot going on back there, and right into that wall. What a play.
Well, he's made some great catches. And Drew Smiley says the field goal is good.
Wow.
What a grab by Kiermaier.
I promise you, when that ball left the bat of David Ortiz, Drew Smiley's thinking, okay, I got to get back in the zone and get Napoli. I'm down one. Guaranteed. And then you turn around and you see your center fielder make a play like that. New life.
Napoli bounces this one foul, 1-1. Well, there's that area back in a little triangle in deep center toward right center, and it's 420 back there. Kiermaier caught up with that long drive off the bat of Ortiz. Great catch by the Rays center fielder. Put 3 stars on that one with that grab. 2-2. Well, we said the other night that the excitement seems to find Kiermaier wherever he goes. A little damage out there to the wall, but Kiermaier came away okay.
Well, and you know why it finds him? Because he creates it. You know, most center fielders don't even get to that. And if they do, you know, are they going to make that play? I don't know. But because he's able to go and do that, he's the one that's creating all this excitement. And sometimes he'll just make it up on his own. He'll just give you an extra little jump, a little throw. You never know.
Full count to Napoli. Take a look at this. It's one thing to get there, another thing to catch it right there. And he did cover a lot of ground. Tapper, Smiley off the hill, bobbles it. Napoli is aboard.
Drew Smiley was setting his footwork to be able to spin and throw and get Napoli at first before he actually secured the baseball. And then it started to bobble around in his hands. You'll see it right here. Watch him try to get around the ball, start to set his feet, and just never able to corral that baseball.
So Napoli is aboard. Smiley had that out right in front of him, but could not corral it. Here's Sandoval. Fouling one, strike one. So an error charged to Smiley. 8th error of the year. And that's going to be foul out of play, 0-2. Cut the miss. Pablo Sandoval out on strikes. He got him with a fastball.
Climbing the ladder. Here it is. How about right at the top of the zone?
Oh, that's enticing to these hitters. 4 strikeouts. The last 3 have been fastballs up, and the last 2 swinging third strikes by Pedroia, now Sandoval.
That's that swing and a miss percentage that you were alluding to earlier.
Strike one on Alan Craig.
And then he goes to that. You know, that's the thing, you know. You sense these trends with these Rays starters. We talk about Odorizzi using the whole strike zone. Drew Smiley will use the whole strike zone. Nathan Carnes will try to use the whole strike zone. I mean, across the board, they just moving that ball all over the place, never settling in one spot for very long.
And he's in front of Craig, 0-2.
Boy, how about the start to the season for Jake Odorizzi?
And he was outstanding again last night. 1 run, 7 innings. Got the win and a 5-1 Rays victory. Broken bat. That's going to be a foul ball. Just over Longoria's head and just foul. Boy, the bat exploded again.
Just inches away from finding that chalk. You see that bat flipping out there and the ball the same. Just foul.
2 outs, 2 strikes the count with Napoli the base runner. One and two. Greg playing left field in place of the injured Hanley Ramirez. Fly ball into left. De Jesus makes the grab. Red Sox out in the 4th inning. Here's that long drive by Ortiz and the great catch by Kiermaier. We remain scoreless headed into the 5th. What are you going to do about that? And all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Joey Butler helped contribute to the fun last night with his first big league home run, leading off the 5th, and he takes a strike. Butler with 3 big league stints with Texas and St. Louis. Down 0-2. And he is out on strikes. A curveball got him. Quick work that time for Rick Porcello.
Well, and the Rays, we talked about getting that leadoff man aboard in 3 of the first 4 innings. First and second, nobody out the previous inning. How many times do we see opportunities gone by early on and a pitcher settles in? That's the best sequence he's had all game long.
Bobby Wilson takes one a little bit outside of fastball. A 15-game winner last year for Porcello, 15-13. And there's a base hit just to the right of Bogaerts and through into left. And so Bobby Wilson snaps a streak. He'd gone 0 for 16. So he's aboard with a 1-out base hit.
Boy, how about it's Rays come to Fenway and get out of your slump? Bobby Wilson taking advantage and roping a ball into left field.
Well, the Rays had Souza Jr., De Jesus, and Cabrera all in lengthy offers last night. Bobby Wilson aboard with a hit in the 5th inning, and Kevin Kiermaier looks at the off-speed pitch down. 1-0. Down to first. Napoli knocks it down. Throws down to second out there. No chance to double up Kiermaier. And that's Bogaerts down around the bag at second. Red Sox will check him out.
They got the smile on the face. That's always a good sign. Here's the play. Bobby Wilson trying to break that up. Oh, maybe a left elbow to the groin. Lower ab.
Steven Souza Jr. taking a pitch down.
We could go hockey and just say a lower body.
That's right. Curveball down around the knees, and that turned out to be a strike. Yeah, that's a good enough explanation. Broken bat and a line base hit into left. Down to second goes Kiermaier. And Souza, who broke his bat and had a base hit in the third, loses another bat, gets a base hit in the fifth.
Good trade. Take that trade. Another runner in scoring position. A ball that was up. And you're left with a saber.
Well, let's see if the Rays can cash in here. So far tonight, they are 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And here's James Loney. Loney came into the game 5 of 13 in his career against Porcello. Looking for his first hit off him tonight. And there's a fastball for a strike.
Well, this is the guy you'd like to have at the plate in these types of situations. James Loney, how many times has he come up big for the Rays in situations just like this?
Great concentration at the plate by Loney. Turn, but nothing doing with Kiermaier back at second. Bogaerts is trotting to the bag just to see if he could. And he can. So things are moving in the right direction. A little conference now between Porcello and Swihart, the young catcher. Don't forget, fans, not to miss tomorrow's Wednesday night showdown presented by Mazda when the Rays take on the Red Sox at 6:30 p.m. right here on Sun Sports. Alex Colomé gets another start for the Rays. Loney fouls it back, a fastball, and a pretty good cut. Porcello, 26 years old, out of New Jersey. Hooked up against Drew Smiley, former teammate with the Tigers. Loney, a little nubber back to the mound, and the underhanded toss to first ends the threat. Rays do not score. innings. Smiley in the mid-60s in pitch count. And has logged 4 strikeouts tonight.
Well, he's been very good, and especially with that fastball up, we knew that he'd be going to that early and often.
This is on the first pitch in the bottom of the 5th to Brock Holt. 64 pitches, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. This is going to slice back into the stands.
Well, he just continues to build on each outing. You know, that first outing, 4 2/3, had a chance maybe to get a win. And he came out of that game with 79 pitches, threw the ball well there, threw the ball better his last start against the Yankees, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, and tonight threw 4, nothing.
He gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in 6 innings, made 87 pitches against the Yankees. A ground ball handled by Forsythe. That is out number 1. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts coming up, brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Here's the breakout for Rays starters and where they rank in the American League. A 324 earned run average.
And this is what's interesting. That's 8 Rays starters have been used so far this year, and none of them named Matt Moore or Alex Cobb.
First pitch strike to Bogarts.
And those numbers.
Well, Odorizzi, one of the guys who has stepped up with his maturity and overall approach. He's stronger. Archer's been outstanding. And then the Rays have had to go to a number of pitchers behind those two, and they patched it all together.
Nathan Carnes, you know, he's shown glimpses through the ball. Tremendous his last outing. You know, then you've gotten Colomé back, and you've gotten Smiley back. Erasmo Ramirez, Kelsey got a start. There's some different guys getting opportunities, but you're right, a lot of patchwork, and you're still not all the way back to full strength, and they're putting up numbers that are leading the league.
Cutting a miss. And down to first. So Bogarts is out of there with strikeout number 5 for Smiley. Yeah, when you think that Moore has yet to return and the Alex Cobb situation, hoping for the best there for the team and for Alex. Apparently showing something of a tear in his elbow. And so Jim Hickey, the Rays pitching coach, really has been challenged here with all of the injuries and that rotation on the DL. And Jake McGee, the closer, still not back. And there is a shot to short caught by Cabrera on the second pitch to Swihart. So it's a 1-2-3 5th inning. We're still scoreless. Drew Smyly has been about as good as you can be, with the exception of a couple walks. He has 5 strikeouts and got some help in the outfield by Kevin Kiermaier on this long blast by David Ortiz.
Now what a play, and you're right. You break this game down. It's been the Drew Smyly show, and offensively, Evan Longoria getting the 1,000th hit, but missed opportunities. A lot of base runners.
Rays 0 for 4 with men in scoring position. They've left men on base in every inning, and it's Evan Longoria to lead off the 6th. Chopper to third. Sandoval with a long throw, and it's right there. So Porcello and Smyly, best of friends during their time with the Detroit Tigers, hooked up in a scoreless contest tonight.
Well, Porcello's made some pitches when he's needed to. He's been fortunate to raise that first and second situation, sending the runners, just as Logan Forsythe hits a bullet out to Mookie Betts, and he's able to double off Evan Longoria. A little luck helps out.
David DeJesus fouls it back. Rick Porcello, as we mentioned, with the Tigers, and now with the Red Sox. He signed a lucrative deal, long-term deal here with Boston. His maternal grandfather played in the major leagues. In fact, he played with the Red Sox, played with 5 teams in the major leagues. Sam Dinty, who was an infielder back in the 40s, signed with the Red Sox organization in 1941. Then World War II came along, and after that ended, he finally got to the big leagues. Spent a year with Boston, and then the St. Louis Browns and the Washington Senators with the White Sox, and then was on the American League Championship team in 1954 with the Cleveland Indians. Bouncer down to first. Napoli takes care of that one unassisted. So Porcello has some major league bloodlines in him, and is pitching like it tonight. Both these guys, Smyly and Porcello, now pitching well.
We talked about that shutout that he threw against the Rays last year. We've seen him very good. You mentioned the fact that, a 15-game winner. He went over 200 innings for the first time in his career. Maturing, getting better. Now on the big stage here in Boston, coming off of his best start of the season, starting to put some things together.
Yeah, the trade for him and then the subsequent signing of that multi-year deal, they're really banking on Porcello being a big part of this Boston rotation for the foreseeable future. Throws a strike to Forsythe.
Well, there's just so much uncertainty around the rotation. Is Wade Miley going to be able to transfer his skills to the American League, to the American League East? Justin Masterson on a 1-year deal, will he be around? Clay Buchholz, can you keep him consistent? Can you keep him out on the mound to be a guy that has 30-plus starts and 200 innings? Just a lot of question marks. And so far, early going, the answers have not been good.
As we cited with the rotations earned run average of 573.
And the thing is, too, their bullpen tied for the major league lead in innings pitched with the Texas Rangers 94 2/3. And if you can't pitch effectively out of your starters, I don't care what Ortiz, Sandoval, Ramirez, all Pedroia, all the lineup, they can't slug enough anymore.
Line drive and a base hit into left. Forsythe has a 2-out single, his first hit. Well, the Rays get a 2-out hit here. They put men on base early in every other inning. This is the first time with 2 outs they put a man aboard, so maybe it'll work out well for them this time. Asdrubal Cabrera upset with himself the last time up when he struck out. 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts tonight. And he's had some success in his career against Porcello. A .295 hitter against him coming in. And there's a first pitch strike, a fastball.
Well, we see, especially from the left side here with Asdrubal, a lot of teams, when they get ahead of him, they try to elevate that fastball middle of the plate away. And Porcello, that's not even a big part of his game, but that's how he got him last time. And Cabrera, you know, being exploited like that, not happy at all, you're right, because he's went after that pitch in the early part of this season, has not been able to get it, and it's been tough for him to lay off of. That frustration builds.
Fouls it back. Another fastball.
And he may be tested again up there. 0-2. Porcello has some room to maneuver.
Into the dirt, and there goes Forsythe. He is safely in. Forsythe, a nice heads-up move to advance to second on the pitch in the dirt.
Yeah, that was great anticipation by Logan. See the secondary lead? Look at, he was already leaning. He read that ball in the dirt, and that is great aggressive base running by Logan Forsythe. I don't care if you do get thrown out. That was the right play in this situation. And he's there.
John Farrell comes out, and he wants to look at that play.
See, maybe if Logan Forsythe came off the bag. We see this a lot now. Close plays in that 6th inning. They'll have him take a look at. You know, see, there's a little dance there on the bag by Logan. I don't think this is going to come of much. But you see teams do this now because, hey, if this call doesn't go their way, starting in the 7th inning, you can ask them to take a look.
Well, you know, Forsythe could not stay on the bag at third base in the 4th inning of the game Sunday against the Baltimore Orioles. Just one of those things where his head-first momentum just would not allow him to stay on the bag. And I think he's going to be in good shape here, but we'll see on this challenge.
If the tag stays on Logan, they'll get him if they got a good view of it, because his foot comes off there. That one's not back on, but see that the tag wasn't being applied still. It was more of the wrist or forearm. That doesn't count. Yeah, I think you're right, Dwayne. I think this is inconclusive. Stands.
They're taking a good look at it here on the challenge.
You know what we should do? We should start guessing each and every time, officially guessing and putting $1 in the hat, and have a sweet crew party at the end of the year.
We'd have to get the entire crew in on that. Not a bad idea, though.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So he is safe moving up on the wild pitch. And the Rays will have a man in scoring position again. This time here in the 6th inning. And that's confirmed is what they are calling that.
Even better. Starting to swing in the Rays' direction.
Slowly it has been. The Rays have not won a challenge this year. Cabrera pops it up. The frustration continues for Cabrera, and Napoli handles the pop-up. Bottom of the 6th coming up. No score. Minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Checkers. Get Checkers Authentic Philly Cheesesteak or try the new Meatball Sub. Pick yours 2 for $5. And by Courtesy Toyota, you'll love what we do for you. First pitch in the bottom of the 6th to the top of the order is a strike call. Mookie Betts up there. He is grounded to third and popped to short. And there's a long one to left. And that one is gone. Third home run of the year for Betts. And the Red Sox lead on one swing of the bat. 1-0.
Yeah, that Rays offense has had a hit in every inning, multiple opportunities. The Red Sox offense has done absolutely nothing, and they take the lead on that.
Their very first hit of the night. Fourth home run given up by Smiley. Pedroia takes one down, 1-0. Smiley gave up 2 runs on 4 hits to the Yankees Wednesday. 2 home runs in that outing. And now the first hit of this game is a home run, the 3rd of the year for Mookie Betts. Down to third, and a nice pickup by Longoria to retire Pedroia. One gone.
Well, now you give up the home run. You got to settle right back in. Keep this Boston lineup. Been throwing the ball well outside of that one pitch. Maintain your concentration and just know that your offense is going to somehow find a way to get on the board and hopefully still win this game for you.
First pitch to Ortiz as a strike. Ortiz made a bid for at least extra bases, hitting the ball to the deepest part of the park his last time up. Kevin Kiermaier ran that one down in a dramatic catch. Two and one. Three balls and a strike to Ortiz. It's Mike Napoli on deck. And the count is full with the foul ball, 3-2. That is into right. Down to the wall, picked up by Souza. And it's a double for Ortiz.
Well, how in the world he was able to get that through the shift, because you had Logan Forsythe way out there in right field and actually kind of over towards the line. But he hits this so hard by Loney and by a diving Forsythe. That ball has to be smoked to get between those two guys. And then hustling, David Ortiz able to turn that into a double. I don't see that very often either.
Remember in that series at Tropicana Field in the Thursday game when the Rays won 2-1, David Ortiz hit one like that at the Trop in the shift. And Forsythe, near the line, came up with that ball and threw him out at first.
Well, they put him out there, and yeah, they shade him over. So you figure if he's got to move a little bit to his right, he's going to have time to throw out David Ortiz. And anything to the left is either going to be gotten by Loney or Forsythe moving to his left. But That was just hit too hard.
On a visit to the mound, Napoli now in the box. Pitch outside, Ortiz on second base, picking up his 5th double. It's a strike at the knees. Down to third base for Longoria. Napoli is the second out. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Keep an eye on the Rays competition and watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. Pablo Sandoval 0 for 2 tonight. Up with Ortiz on second and 2 gone. Pop foul out of play. Smiley with the home run allowed to Betts. Devon Travis got him in the first outing against Toronto. Chase Headley and Chris Young hit home runs off him in New York in that start against the Yankees. That's the game that went 13, and the Rays eventually won that one 3-2. High foul headed for the stands.
Well, and like the 2 home runs he gave up in New York, both solo shots, just like this one to Betts, and you can live with those. And Rays were able to come back and win that game in 13 innings. Down just 1 here and in a good spot, but you got to make a pitch. You don't want to let Boston get to the 2-run lead.
Way up. 1 and 2.
It'll certainly change your eye level.
Still a ball, 2 strikes. Betts hit the home run. 1 out later, Ortiz double to right. He's at second base with 2 outs. Smiley ahead in the count to Sandoval. And he got him. Got him to chase the off-speed pitch, reaching. 1 run on the home run. It's 1-0 Boston. 1-0 lead with the Rays coming into bat in the 7th inning. Final game of this series at Fenway tomorrow, and here's what's coming up on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Alex Colomé will make the start. We'll hear from him after coming off his excellent first appearance of the year. And tomorrow, a Webb Wednesday. It'll be Colomé against Masterson tomorrow. Joey Butler chops this one to the shortstop. Bogarts throws him out on the first pitch. One away in the 7th. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, on his way to the plate. Action in the Red Sox bullpen. Tommy Lane loosening. There's ball 1 to Wilson. One and one. Fastball, that one at 89 from Porcello. He's ahead in the count, 1 and 2. Two. No walks from Porcello tonight. The Rays have 8 hits, but no runs.
Yeah, they've had him in the stretch an awful lot and nothing to show for it. That is extraordinarily frustrating.
And Wilson out in front. Curveball got him. 2 up, 2 down. Tonight's High Def highlight presented by H.H. Gregg as we watch this great catch from Kevin Kiermaier on the ball hit by David Ortiz.
The one thing that you're pretty confident of as a center fielder is you're not going to jump into the sidewall.
Except here.
Right. You think if I'm going to hit a wall, I'm going to be running back. I'm not going to be hitting it from the side, but with that odd angle, and you see he did some damage there at the bottom, catch the spike.
And he's quickly behind Porcello, 0-2 in the 7th. Porcello pitching with a purpose here in the 7th inning. Except on that pitch. Breaking ball that bounced in well in front of Kiermaier.
It's funny how a lead will do that for you, Dwayne.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You get that lead, you know that you're nearing probably the end of your outing. And so it's like empty the tank.
It's that second win.
Yep.
Two.
Alexi Agondo joins Tommy Lane.
And suddenly there's ball 3 after 2 quick outs and 2 quick strikes. The count is full.
And get some speed on the base paths. Kiermaier, with that good speed, can try to make something happen here.
And a line drive, but caught by Napoli. And the Rays are out in the 7th inning. Still no runs. 1-0 Boston. The 6th. We're moving into the bottom of the 7th. Drew Smiley out of this game after 6 innings. Pitched well, except for that one pitch.
And that's exactly right. A couple of walks, but other than that, I mean, I'll tell you, he moved the ball around the zone as we expected that he would, picking up those 6 strikeouts. And this is that one mistake. That ball just kind of hung and stayed out over, and Mookie Betts went out and got it with authority. That was their first hit, their first run. And now Drew's night over.
6 innings for Smiley. A run on 2 hits and 6 strikeouts, a couple walks, and Xavier Cedeno will take over on the hill. Alan Craig will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning for Boston. One and 0. Greg walked his first time. Down the left field line, and that's going to be off the wall. Play at second, and he is out at second base. Nice job of playing the carom by DeJesus, and a strike to second to Forsythe.
And David DeJesus can film a tutorial on how to play out there in left field. Watch this, off the wall. He plays himself into position for the ball to go into the glove. He's already in position to throw, and boy, he fires a strike to Logan Forsythe. Get the tag out there in front of the bag, and well done. Look at that, how he played that off the big wall. Perfect.
And a strike to Holt. DeJesus gives you that veteran presence out there and the veteran performance from David DeJesus. There's strike 2 to Holt. 0-2.
So many guys, they're tracking after that ball because in a lot of parks, maybe you can make a play on it, or you're chasing that ball into the corner. And you got to remember, with this short wall out here, you're not going to be able to play that. You got to play it off the wall. Give yourself some room. Don't run so far back that that ball is bounding over top of you.
Forsythe handles this roller. 2 gone.
You know, we've seen, some young Rays outfielders get caught all the time too close to the wall, and the ball is bounding over their head back in towards the infield, and it becomes a race to the baseball. That was played like a guy who plays his home games here.
Xander Bogaerts. Oh for 2, facing the left-hander Xavier Cedeno. Pitch is down. Cedeno prefers the X in Xavier. A lot of players and performers with that same name prefer Xavier, but he likes the X.
It's there. Might as well take advantage of it.
Sometimes it's just silent. Three balls, no strikes. Ernesto Frieri limbering in the bullpen. And ball 4 is upstairs. That puts a man on. Capture your favorite Mother's Day moment at Tropicana Field with the Rays Shared Moments picture frame. Come out Saturday, May 10th. The Rays take on the Rangers, and all women receive the picture frame while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Blake Swihart grounded to short, hit a line drive to short his last time, and Cabrera made a nice play on it. Pitch is in there for a strike. Chopped to third, fair. Longoria on the move, and a nice play by Longoria on the receiving end. Swihart's out of there. 7th inning is over. Nice play by Longoria and Loney. 1-0 Boston. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Stores. The matchup of Drew Smiley and Rick Porcello. And through 7, it's 1-0 Boston on the Mookie Betts home run. 6 innings for Smiley, and Porcello's out of the game now. Working 7 shutout innings. He made 102 pitches. Smiley made 92, and Alexi Ogando is on to face Steven Souza Jr., who lofts a big league pop up to first, and it's caught by Napoli. 1 pitch, 1 out, and we'll check in one more time with Todd Cowles.
Dwayne, thanks. Coming up tomorrow, it is a website Wednesday, which means fans can ask their questions via Twitter at Sun Sports Rays, or they can send their emails to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. By the way, the Rays wrapping up a 9-game road trip tomorrow, guys. Started out in the Big Apple, then to lovely downtown St. Pete, wrapping up here in Boston. So tomorrow, ask Dwayne and BA your questions via Twitter or email. Back to you.
Let's go back to Todd for a moment.
Yeah, I'd like to know where he started out before that hit.
Yeah. Seemed to be a little commotion as he started his walk down the aisle. James Loney takes the pitch. It's in there for a strike. Yeah, just making new friends all the time.
Squirrely.
One and one to count on Loney. Seven innings, 8 hits off Porcello, no runs and no walks. He struck out 6. And the 31-year-old right-hander Ogando facing Loney. It's 1 and 2, and a nice scoop there. Todd's a little disheveled right there.
Look at that. The jacket half on.
A lot of action behind him, too. Pitch away. 2-2. The 11th appearance for Ogando. Rays with 5 outs left. Loney starts to go, and he checked. Ball getting away from Swihart, but doesn't make any difference on ball 3, only if he had gone around, and Loney did not.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If they had said that he had gone around, Swihart got to that ball, it would have been an easy throw. I mean, Loney's kind of waiting for the call to see what's going to happen. He knew he didn't go, but you never know what they're going to call.
Fouls it back. 3-2, and that mid-90s fastball in there. Robbie Ross Jr. in the bullpen for Boston. Popped up. Bogarts from shortstop in center field. 2 gone. Bases are empty for Evan Longoria, who picked up career hit number 1,000 in the 4th inning, and he has good numbers against Ogando. 5 of 11 with a home run. Evan with 1 home run this year. That came opening day. One.
Evan not messing around with that swing. He's got one thing in mind here with 2 outs. Team down by 1. May not see another at bat, so trying to make something happen here, and you can't blame him.
It's fouled back. It's 1-2. The off speed pitch. Ogando had been with Texas until this year. He had some elbow issues the last year or so. There's a liner into left. Craig is there to make the catch, reaching over. So the Rays are out in the 8th. 1-0 Boston. Rivalries beginning with the Royals taking on the Tigers. Then the Braves square off against the Nationals. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday. Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Ernesto Frieri on now for the Rays. His job to hold the Red Sox and give the Rays one more shot. First pitch and a drive off the bat of Betts. Way back to left, and that's gone.
He did it again.
Mookie Betts, who homered in the 6th, greets Frieri with a home run in the 8th. 2-0 Boston.
Boy, what a difference. 1 to 2 run lead. 1-run lead, the tying run, guaranteed to come to the plate at least 3 times. And now you're going to have to put something together because Betts got into another one.
Dustin Pedroia takes a pitch down. This one is skied into short center field. 1 out in the 8th. Frieri touched up for the home run. Now the hitter will be David Ortiz. Betts, in all the games that the Rays have seen him play, he's managed to get on base and do something productive. In every one of those games, he's at least gotten on base. Ortiz pops it to the left side, and that's out number 2. Cabrera taking care of that. And tonight, Betts has done it in a big way. A home run in the 6th, making it 1-0, and a home run in the 8th, making it 2-0. The 4th home run given up by Frieri this year. Mike Napoli takes the ball. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Rick and Orestes anchoring. Kevin Cash's press conference. And we'll have interviews from the clubhouse with Todd Callis. Now 2-0. Lined into the seats. 2-1. Two and two. Here the Rays trail 2-0. In Toronto, the Yankees have a 5-0 lead on the Blue Jays. And the Orioles have a run home in the 9th. They're playing the Mets. And they're down 3-2, hitting in the top of the 9th. Rays down by 2 in the bottom of the 8th in Boston. Popped up. That's going to go foul, out of play. Sandoval is on deck. Rays hope they face him in the bottom of the 9th. They're down 2-0 in the bottom of the 8th. And the count is now full to Napoli.
Close pitch here by Frieri, right to the outside corner at the knees.
Fouled again by Napoli.
Well, he just continues to take big hacks and continues to foul things off. He's got a couple of pitches that have been out over the plate that he has just missed. And that's been the story of the young season for Mike Napoli. A lot of just misses.
Well, this will be the 9th pitch of this at bat. Pops it into shallow center. Kiermaier still coming, and he can't get there.
Well, and really the lack of hustle by Mike Napoli cost him second base. But as Asdrubal Cabrera gave up on that ball, you're so used to Kevin Kiermaier covering all this ground, being able to make a play. He had to come from so far away. Watch Cabrera head out, and then he's just going to kind of stop, turn it over to Kiermaier. All the effort in the world just cannot get there. And Mike Napoli should have been on second base.
Now the Rays will face Sandoval here in the 8th. Want to know the count to the Boston third baseman. Yankees have added a run to their lead on the Blue Jays, putting one up in the 8th. Now 6-0 New York. Sandoval chases the pitch up. 1-2. Runner takes off, and the pitch skied into left. DeJesus making the call. That'll retire the side. A run scores on the Betts home run. The Rays will have DeJesus to lead it off. Tomorrow's starters presented by Chevron in the wrap-up game of the series. Justin Masterson on the mound for Boston, and Alex Colomé who looked very sharp in his first outing, will do the pitching for the Rays tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on Sun Sports. Tonight at Fenway, the Rays are down by 2 going into the 9th, and they will see Koji Uehara.
Well, a lot of action with Koji Uehara. 6 in the 3rd innings, 7 games, 3 decisions, 4 saves. Always something going on. Hasn't walked anybody.
And he's had a little different look this year. Uehara now 40 years old. We've seen the split from him a lot more this year than last year. And that fastball seemed to set up the split. He's been backwards this year. Here's David DeJesus. Pops up that first pitch foul.
And right on cue.
There's the split to start the at bat.
Well, listen, John Farrell even addressed this issue. Said that he's just not comfortable yet with his arm strength in throwing that fastball. And you're right. I can remember a couple of at bats. One against Evan Longoria was a 5 or 6 pitch at bat, and it was split after split. Never saw a fastball, and that's been kind of his MO.
Split again. 0-2.
Still so hard to lay off of. Bit out in front.
Last year at the age of 39, named to his first All-Star team. And there's a fastball away. 1-2.
Well, and right here he does come with the fastball trying to make that perfect pitch, misses off the plate, and you got to feel like he's coming back with the split here.
Hit on the ground to Pedroia. And DeJesus is the first out in the 9th.
Well, here's the thing. I know that Koji Uehara is cagey out there, and he's a veteran. He knows how to pitch, but uncomfortable when you get him down to just that one pitch. The fastball's not going to be overpowering. He's made it work for a number of years now. Can he do it again?
Logan Forsythe, strike 1. Forsythe had a base hit in the 6th. Rays down to their last 2 outs. They've been shut out on 8 hits. 0 for 5 with men in scoring position tonight. And the opportunities came in the first half of this game for the most part. Urcelo really finished strong with a 1-2-3 7th after the Red Sox got a 1-0 lead. Ogando a perfect 8th, and now Uehara in the 9th. Popped up. Swihart the catcher. That's a fair ball, and he makes the catch. 2 gone. So the Rays are 1 out away for being shut out for the 4th time this year. Boston had a combination 1-0 4-hit shutout against the Rays on the 21st of April. That's the game started by Miley. They used Ogando and Ross Jr., Tazawa, and Uehara at the end. And now it's Asdrubal Cabrera trying to keep this one going with 2 outs in the 9th. 1 ball, no strikes. Joey Butler's on deck, so there's some power potential waiting there. And Cabrera is out in front and over the split. 1-1.
You know, the way that he pitches, hitters typically don't go up there sitting off speed, but you almost have to at this point. Not showing you the fastball at all.
1-2, split again.
And if you do see it, he's just showing it to you. It's not a competitive pitch. And you're right. 2 splits, last 2 pitches, 2 swings way out in front. Now you got to battle against anything here.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
There's another show pitch. I'll give you that fastball off the plate where you can't do anything with it. If you want to swing at it, go ahead. But I'll show it to you, speed you up, and slow you back down.
This one bounces away from Swihart, so now we have a full count.
Well, think about the home run that Butler hit yesterday. A hanging changeup from Clay Buchholz. How about a base runner and a hanging split?
3-2. Ground ball by the mound, grabbed by Pedroia, the throw to first. This game is over. Red Sox shut out the Rays 2-0. Mookie Betts with a 2-home run performance. Porcello, Ogando, and Uehara combined to shut out the Rays on 8 hits. And the current series is even at a game of